Hey ladies, how are you doing today? Um, I just wanted to let you know I'm a couple of minutes late. I've got some exciting stuff going on here tech-wise. What's new? And so thank you guys for being here. I want to, if you don't mind, I'm going to post today's homework after we get done. I had to restart my computer. So if you don't have today's homework, just follow along and then you can, be reading from it and then we can redo it very soon. Hey, Kelly, how you doing? Um, so a couple of announcements. One of them is that if you haven't heard yet, Kelly Donovan, who's on right now, it's Kelly and Kelly show, has offered to do a special group for people who have a little bit more weight to lose. And she's done it. She lost like 100 pounds and kept it off, and she's now a fitness coach. So we've got a second group, and we will definitely link to that in the notes on this page. Hey, Linda, thanks for joining us. And so, yes, definitely that's an exciting thing because I know that Kelly has an expertise there that I just don't have. So together we're working, and I think it's going to be awesome. Another thing that I wanted to say is while we're waiting for everyone else to jump on, I just wanted to go over the first week's notes that I don't know if y'all had caught it. It is definitely on the Facebook page. You can find all of this information under files. And so, yeah, okay, Linda. So I'm going to connect you to Kelly then, because that would be great. Hey, Diane, thanks for joining us. So I just want to talk about there's the first very, very beginning when I put a file out there and said, hey, you should be thinking about some of these things. Hi, Shelley, thanks for jumping on. So before we get to this week's lesson, we're just talking about the first week's file that I put out there, the first fit sheet. So one of the things I asked is like, what is fit to you? Like, what is it? And, what are your fitness goals? Like, I don't know if you saw earlier, but I did put like, what is a post in the group that said like, what does freedom fitness mean? What does it mean to you? And there were a lot of great comments. Like for some of the people, hey, Barbara, for some of the people, it was like, I want to hike. I want to kayak more. I think someone said, I just want to play squash all day. There's just like so many things that people want to do, and it is all doable. Trust me, we can all do it. It's just a matter of getting to that point where we feel great. We're at a fitness level that does it. And sometimes it's a little bit of mindset too. I mean, I know that I just took a group of people to on an adventure trip to the Appalachian Trail. And prior to that trip, I think there were 12 people, almost all women, one guy, but almost all women. And prior to the trip, at least half of the people contacted me kind of like offline and just said, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. I'm a little concerned about the trip. And, I've met them all, I know them all, and I'd given them a training schedule and they were all doing it. So I just told them, you know what, we're going to work with this. And the funny thing is everyone did amazing, like amazing. And it was just a little bit of mindset, really, that we needed to get. And, some people weren't as fast as others, but if you're doing what we're going to talk about today, then you're going to get to that point where you can do this stuff. And even if you're not, like, I'm not super fast at things, but, slow and steady. Slow and steady wins the race. So another thing is that, like, and for those of you who are just jumping on, I'm just going over the first fit sheet that we put out there just to kind of ask y'all a couple of questions. Like, what are the actions or inactions that you're doing right now that are holding you back? I mean, it's a big thing. Like an inaction could be like, okay, for myself, I can tell you one. I'm pretty active. Like, I do a lot of stuff. If I don't do my stretching, which is like my least favorite thing to do, like, I'd like to do everything else before I do my stretching. But if I don't do my stretching, then I simply am incapable of doing the other stuff. Like I'm in pain. So I've learned that the inaction of not stretching for me is what causes me to not be able to hit a lot of my fitness goals. So I just have to do it. Like, it's just the way it is. Got to do it. So what is it for you? And if you're just jumping on, go ahead and introduce yourself. I'd love to hear who's on here. And also, the third question I asked was, like, who would you be if you'd already reached your fitness goal? Like, who would you be? Like, how would you feel? Like, really, how would you feel? It's not even so much how would you look, because sometimes we look different than we think we are, but, you know, like, how would you act? And, you know, like, what would you do? So those are just a few things to ask yourself as we're going on this journey together. Okay, so to not take up any more of your time, I want to jump right into today because we're talking about time. And forgive me if I'm not keeping eye contact the whole time, because I am also checking comments. So in your fitness sheet, and if you guys don't mind, let me see if I can grab that really quick so that you've got it. Let's see, give me 1 second because I probably have it. I do. Let me, sorry, it is hosted on the website. And so I'm just gonna have to tell you that you can go over to the, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Go over to files and you can grab it there. But it's called week 1, okay? Hey, Lorraine, thanks for coming. Canadian, got a Canadian in the house, and Paulina, hey, thanks for coming. I appreciate y'all being on here today. So what we're talking about is time. And time's a funny thing, because when you first jumped on, we gave you a couple of questions, and one of them was, what's your biggest obstacle to getting fit? And at least 50% of the people answered something about time. I don't have enough time. I can't find the time because of everything else. I just don't have the time. And if you guys don't mind, I would like to be a little tough for a second, because the reality is that, you know, we are all busy. There is no doubt about it. I think that women are crazy busy these days. It's gone are the days when, you know, we could take care of the kids or the home or whatever. I mean, now we're working jobs, we're starting businesses, we're running companies, we're taking care of the kids, we're doing it all, okay? We are doing it all. And we can't do it all if we aren't taking care of ourselves, because you know why, right? If you're not taking care of yourself, then you're just going to run out of energy. And that's the other thing that most people said, either time or energy. So talking about time right now. So what really it means when you say you don't have the time to do something is that it means you don't have the priority to do it. And I know, like, when I say that, I know some people get a little irritated with me because, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on. But no time really means no priority. So when you take something and you say, okay, right now I have decided that I am 100% committed, like 100% committed to getting fit, to feeling great, to whatever that thing is that, you know, that you want. When you're 100% committed to fitness freedom, then you're going to find time, even if it's just a little bit. Like, I just did a video earlier, and in that video I was talking about, you can start out with what we call tiny habits, which is like, you know, you tie a habit to something else. You're brushing your teeth, you do butt squeezes. You're flossing your teeth, you do calf raises. You're making coffee, you do push-ups on the counter. Like, you can tie your tiny habits to a lot of different things. But that's one way to find time. Another way to find time is just to say, I'm just taking 15 minutes. I'm just taking 15 minutes, and it's my time, and I'm ready for it. So that's another way to do it. I'm not a big fan of get up earlier, unless you're just like lollygagging around, because a lot of us need more sleep. But you know yourself, and you know where you can find that little slice of time. The interesting thing about it is, as soon as you start moving more, you start moving more. Like, yeah, Kelly, you'll find the time on to spend the money and time on what matters most to you? Absolutely. Because like, it's like eating well, right? Or eating right, let's say it. Sometimes people will say, well, I can't afford to shop organic. Let's just throw that out there as one idea. The truth is that when you start eating, and I know I'm a little off topic here, but let's just talk about it for a second. When you start eating organic, then you find yourself eating better. When you start moving, you find yourself moving more. So that's where your time comes in. So start looking at it. Another thing that you need to do, or that I would suggest you do, is track your time. Like, just track it for a few days. Where are you spending your time? I know that, it's like the amount of time we spend on social media, and I have to tell you, I realize the irony because we're here on social media, okay? I totally get the irony. But the amount of time that we're spending on social media is crazy. And it's, in a way, it's not our fault. Because if your notifications are on your phone, or if your notifications are turned on your computer, it's ding, bing, catch your attention nonstop. And so one way to just cut back on social media, cut back on those notifications. Take it off your phone. But just look for a little while. Track your time. Are you spending a lot of time watching TV? And that's another time suck. Some of the other time sucks that we have, email, just kind of like constantly checking email. And if I was to call myself out on something, I have to be super careful, because I'll leave my email open and then I'll start just kind of checking it. I don't need to check it. When I'm doing my best work and my best scheduling, it's when I turn off all of that stuff, actually, and I only check it twice a day. So just start looking at where you're spending your time. Another thing is, hey, Donna, I didn't see you jumped on. And Carol, thanks for coming on. And yeah, social media, it is just a killer. Another thing that happens is what I call lazy work. And lazy work is it's when you just kind of are doing more filler work, or you're allowing work to fill up the time that you have allotted for that work, versus maybe working a little harder and quicker. And then I'll talk about later, there's something we do called nitros. It's something that everybody in my VIP group just started doing at the beginning, because super fast, like it is the fastest workout I know. And I'll post it in here for you. But it's super fast, and then you just go for it, right? And okay, Diana, I love this. She's doing squats, planks, and ab exercises while she's watching. Good for you. And then Paulina, I don't know what a pound class is. But so think about that, and think about, busy work, right? Busy work instead of quality work. I just call it lazy work. A lot of times, and if you watch yourself work, you'll catch yourself doing this, where if you have 3 things that need to get done and you have 6 hours, it's going to take all 6 hours, right? If you have 4 hours, it's probably going to take just 4 hours. So tighten it up, tighten your schedule up. Another thing to look at is, so sorry, I'm going to come back and I'm going to say something again, because I'm a little bit serious about this one. Is if you don't have time, it means that it's either not your priority, or it could mean that you're into perfection. And when you're into perfection, what happens is a few things. One of them is that you won't do something unless you can do it the best you can, which I think we were all taught to do, right? Something's not worth doing if you don't do it perfect. Forget that. What you really want to do is just get things done so you've got the time for yourself. I know, like a friend of mine, she has 2 kids, able-bodied teenagers, but they don't help at the house because she thinks she can do a better job than they can, which guess what? She does, right? She does a way better job. But the truth is that that's perfectionism. Just drop it and run. Be willing for things to not be as perfect as they were. Be willing to let the kids help with dinner. Be willing to put the kids to work at dinner. Be willing to, heaven forbid, let your husband go grocery shopping, which is the thing that, that's really scary in my world. But every so often, I'm just like, here's the list. And he loves it, right? It takes him 5 hours to go to the grocery store because he just wanders around and buys stuff we don't need. But, you know, sometimes you just have to just drop the perfection and run with it, because that is a huge time suck. Okay, so one thing is, right now I bet everyone can think of one thing in your world that is your biggest time suck. Like, you know, what is that one thing in your world every day, every week, that if you dropped, you could find that 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it is a day, to replace that with some movement? Because that's where we're going with all of this, is that I want to get people away from sitting and get people out moving. And the fact that Diana said that she was doing squats while she's watching, that's perfect. Just think of things like that. So, you know, what's that one thing you can do in your life? Okay. And then when you think of it, stop it. Like, go cold turkey for a week and find that instead of doing it, you're going to fill your time with what we're talking about next, which is scheduling. If you don't schedule something, it's really not real. Like, you wouldn't make a doctor's appointment and not schedule it, right? So, like, putting a doctor's appointment on your schedule, it makes it real. Putting your work on your schedule, like, I know exactly what I'm going to do tomorrow. Like, I mean, I'm a little anal about this, but I work with my schedule. And what it does is, by knowing exactly what I'm going to do tomorrow, I'm able to also know exactly what I'm going to do all week in my workouts. Like, I schedule my workouts every week. I know exactly what I'm going to do, and I always leave wiggle room, so that if something happens one day, I can maybe replace it with something else that day. But I have a pretty good idea, and I schedule it. I schedule it out a week. And on your fit shit today, sorry, I knew I was going to say that someday. On your fit sheet today, you have opportunities for scheduling. Like, you can either start on Mondays or you can start on Sundays, but it is definitely in the fit sheet. And I'm not going to say that word again today because I'm not going to make it work this time. So, so think about it. Like, it's not real if it's not scheduled. So schedule out your time, schedule out your week, schedule out your exercise, your movement. Like, I'm not even looking for people to jump in and just, you know, go all whole hog to the gym. Just start scheduling in the movement. And like Kelly said, yes, rocks in my schedule keep me in action. Yep. So if you have questions, feel free, because I am definitely checking the comments as I go. Pamela, don't worry about being late. There's always a replay, and I'm trying to keep these pretty quick because I don't want y'all spending all your time here. I want you out doing things. So let me just check a couple of quick things. And then, okay. So as far as what to do, right? You'll hear me talk about the fitness pyramid, okay? And to me, the fitness pyramid is what we should all be using. A fitness pyramid has a strong base. It's got a strong foundation. And that foundation is, you're going to do some sort of cardio, you have some sort of resistance or weights, and then you have some sort of stretching, whatever that works for you. So that is the foundation to the fitness pyramid, to the whole fitness pyramid, okay? And then once you create that, and you've got your things that you're doing, whether it's one day a week you're doing cardio or 3 days a week, like, it's not that you have so much going on, it's that you have it scheduled and you know what you're going to do. And then as you get better and better at what you're doing, then you can just start moving up the pyramid, making things a little harder. A good example, and I guess there's one more thing to add to that pyramid bottom, because this is a big thing for a lot of people, is enough water, making sure you're hydrated, and of course food. But you know, the funny thing about food is, and we'll talk about this more again, but there's a lot of studies out there that show that if you start moving, and I mean, this doesn't have to be a huge thing, you just start moving, you're exercising, your food and what you eat is going to start improving pretty quickly. Like as we go along in life, when we're doing a better job of when we're doing a job of movement, then our natural ability of eating cleaner and healthier just starts coming out. And let me stop for just a second. Pamela, are you asking, is it bad to use housework as exercise? If that's your question, I don't know. Like personally, I don't think of housework as exercise. If you're just like going like a wild demon and you're tearing around the house cleaning up, it's probably going to break a sweat. But it's not really fitting into the need of, weights and resistance, cardio, stretching, unless you've got some wild, like I could see some wild teeny habit thing happening where you're, as you vacuum, you're doing calf lifts or something, but I'm not sure if that's super helpful. So I wouldn't really look at housework as part of your exercise foundation or your fitness pyramid. But going back to the whole idea of like having this pyramid and then moving up, one of the other things is that, when you're drinking enough water, then it makes it easier for your health too. So you just want to like look at all those things and start thinking about them. And you start small, start small. I know in our VIP group, like one of our ladies started in her first week, her only goal was to drink more water. Like that was it. And I was like, okay, that's a good start. As long as the next week, we step it up a bit, but it worked because she started with more water and then we brought in some nitros and now we're on like week 5 and she's going to the gym. So things can move very quickly, but I encourage you to start small or just start small for a couple of reasons. One reason is that if you start all in, like I'm going to train for a marathon, I'm going to start going to the gym and I'm going to drink 3 liters of water a day or whatever it is and eat clean. Like when you go all in like that, it's kind of like a New Year's resolution. It's a little hard to have it stick because when things start slipping, we have typically our first thought is just to let it all go. So think instead about like starting small and building up. And we'll definitely talk about habits because that's like part of the whole habit thing is you're either going to be starting small and building better habits or you're going to be taking away bad habits. And definitely I'm all over chatting about habits because you may have seen the tagline that I use mostly, which is if willpower worked, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Like forever, I thought that I just didn't have willpower. And then I finally learned that I just didn't have good habits. Okay, I am going to see if anyone has comments. Okay, first thing, Diane, if you don't like to exercise at all, then I guess I would say a couple of things. One thing is the truth is that, all right, let me just be blunt here for a second. And I try not to be too blunt, but I'm going to be blunt. As women, about the time we hit 30, everything that's been working for us starts sliding back. And I just and I'm not going to get into all the science behind it because I don't want to keep you guys here all day because I don't want to run too long. But basically, you're either in growth or you're in decay. And if you're not doing anything, after about 30, we start kind of slipping into decay. And that's a tough word, right? But it's just what happens. So exercise and movement, eating right, mindset, meditation, all of these things are the things that keep us growing instead of sliding backwards. So if you don't like to exercise, like you're just like, I just don't like to exercise, then I would say that there's a couple of things that you can think about. One of them is that if you have family that you care about, then you probably want to exercise because are so many studies out there that show that exercise keeps us healthy. I mean, probably a lot of people on the call today can tell you this. Exercise keeps you healthy. And I know for myself, like, to me, exercise is a long game. And there are all kinds of exercise. Hiking in the woods is exercise. Kayaking is exercise. Biking is exercise. Just, you don't have to just go to the gym. There's a lot of other things you can do, but you need to find something that you like, or otherwise you're probably in the wrong place, because I'm going to be talking about movement nonstop because I think it's that important. So I hope that's okay, but think about that and just think about how to find something that you like to do. And if you don't know what it is that you like to do, try some stuff. Like, there's tons of classes out there. There's all kinds of things you can do. Oh yeah, so Carol is talking about the 4-minute nitro exercise in the homework sheet. You should get the homework sheet, but I'll also post nitros in here. Nitros are awesome. Like, Zach Bush, who put them together, super smart guy. Like, this is one of the guys I follow out there because he's very smart and he's doing a lot of cutting edge stuff. And what he's done with the nitros is, it's like 4 minutes. It's quick, easy. I can do nitros and never break a sweat and sit down and do what I'm doing right now, and no one would know that, 5 minutes ago I was exercising, because you're not going to break a big sweat, but you're going to work out all of your body parts, and you're going to start getting the nitric oxide moving around in your body. So yes, definitely look at those in the sheet, because I think that's the best place to start. I really do. If you're not doing anything, do nitros. And then Lorraine says that she starts like a maniac and then feels the pain afterwards and gets discouraged. That's one other thing about starting too strong. Like, if you start strong, and like, I love the idea of finishing strong, but I like the idea of starting a little more gently. Perfect example was, I don't know, I had had a biking accident, actually, and tore some ligaments. So I wasn't going to the gym for a while. I went back to the gym, and I actually got a guy who was a trainer there, and I said, hey, show me some new stuff. Show me some moves, right? So he showed me some moves, and a couple of them I was like, I don't know. I wasn't too comfortable with them, but I went with it. And I was pushing it because, like, here I am. I've got to make up time, right? Because here I've been off for several months, really, because of this accident. And what I did was I re-injured myself because I started too fast. And so starting small, listening to your body, and knowing that this is a long game, ladies. It's a long game. We're not here to lose 30 pounds in 30 days, or to do, whatever the big challenge is that's going on today. We're here to be looking 6 months. We're looking a year. We're looking 10 years longer down the road. Like, if you were to ask me there's two things that keep me going. Like, one of them, I love to work out. I love to exercise. I love to feel good, right? And when I'm not doing it, I don't feel good. But the other thing is that I know one way or the other, we're going to live. Most of us are going to live for a pretty long time, because medical science has got us. It's going to keep us healthy. It's going to keep us alive. I want to be able to be as strong and healthy and still doing everything I love for as long as humanly possible. So that's where being in a long game comes in. And just think about that, and think about, what you can bring to it, what fit means to you, what freedom means to you. What does freedom mean to you? And you'll find almost always part of that is being able to move well, feel great, and get out there and do the things that you love to do. So I am going to wrap up, because we're at about 30 minutes, and I don't want to keep you guys too long, because I forgot, whoever was doing the planks, she's going to just be like, oh, it was Diana. If she's still doing squats and planks, she's probably getting pretty tired by now. So if you have any other questions, just put them in the comments. I will follow up. I'm also going to drop the homework back in there, so you've got it. And thank you all so much for being here. I really, 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 truly appreciate it. And I'll be in and out of the group every day, and we'll be doing these We'll be doing these lives about every 2 or 3 days. I think the schedule is posted at the top of the page. So if you need anything, just let me know. And I really, truly appreciate it. Thank you for being here. Have a wonderful day wherever you are. See you. Bye-bye now.